From the Altai to the White Sea, the lands where Kazakh people rode their horses, the historical expedition will follow the footsteps of ancestors. The 3-year journey was set out to the west. Kazakh traveler of the 21st century, Sapar Iskakov and his team have visited more than 20 countries in 70 days. A wonderful story of the great journey is featured in our program, In the Footsteps of Ancestors. Featuring today, what trace has the state of Desh-I-Kipchak left in urban civilization? What have iron chains been hung above the entrance door of the Madrasa Joly? What is special about the mountain fortress named Kırık Yer? The Kazakhs are called the descendants of the nomads. However, the history shows that this definition deviates from the truth. Talhiz, Ispitjab, Otrar, Siganak, Sarayshik, Kumkent were large cities that existed on the territory of the Great Steppe. The spirit of medieval civilization penetrated the vast expanses from Altai to the White Sea. These lands still have traces of a vivid sedentary life. Even Europeans were amazed by the architecture, the development of engineering communications of the fortified sites. Visitors of Sarayshik called it one of the most developed cities in the world. Members of the historical expedition came to the conclusion that our ancestors had not only led a sedentary life, they were at the roots of urban civilization. The Kazakhs have left their indelible imprint in the urban civilization on the Crimean Peninsula as well. The cities of the Western Kipchak Association have been founded here several centuries ago. Their power can be felt even now. The expedition members have visited some of them. The expedition members have studied historical monuments in the medieval cities of Akhmeshit, Solhat, and Kaffa. The next stop is Bakhchisaray district, the ancient city of Salachik that was inhabited by our ancestors. The last information about the city is dated to the 17th century. Later Salachik has never been mentioned in the manuscripts. Apparently, scientists suppose it was due to the influence of the Russian Empire that joined the Crimean Khanate at the time. And yet, Salachik was a very influential city. Ottoman traveler Evliya Çelebi compared it to the legendary city from the 1001 Nights folktales collection.
Горы, которые находятся за мной, раньше населяли кипчаки.
Kipchaks have lived in the mountains behind me since ancient times. The Golden Horde ruled the territory in the 13th century. Then after its decline, there was the capital of the Crimean Khanate. However, Salachik wasn't the first capital. There were Solkat and Kırık Yerden before. Salachik has prospered during the reign of Crimean Khan Menli-Geray. A huge architectural complex consisting from 5 objects was built there. The royal mosque decayed by today, the Khan's palace named Daulet Saray, Zinjirli Madrasa, a family burial vault of Crimean Khans, and public baths, which were excavated only in 2007. According to historians, it was a period when the principles of the construction of Muslim cities have been formed. That is, the mosque should be built first, before other buildings. Salachik was constructed the same way. The royal palace and Zinjirli Madrasa have been built first. Madrasa Zinjirli is the oldest school in Eastern Europe. It was built during the reign of the 3rd Crimean Khan Menli-Geray in 1500. The architecture of the building was the most advanced at that time. At present, in the 21st century, many modern universities have green spaces for leisure. Similar was in the Zinjirli Madrasa in the 16th century. There was a winter garden with a fountain right in the middle of the building. There was a lot of sunshine here. Now the complex is under special protection.
Преподавали здесь все основные науки, которые были известны.
Students studied different sciences here, such as mathematics, astronomy, law, and medicine. All Crimean Khans received education in this madrasa. Initially, only representatives of the royal dynasty studied here. Later, they started enrolling everyone.
Теория, что многие крымские ханы, они получили образование именно здесь, в Занджарлы медресе.
There were many legends about this madrasa. According to some sources, its founder, Khan Menli Giray, personally participated in the construction, in particular in the laying of the stone. After construction was completed, the ruler turned to people and said, "If a person does not strive for knowledge, then his path will be short." So why was the madrasa named Zanjirli? In Kazakh, it means with a chain. Iron chains are suspended above the entrance door. The meaning is that anyone overstepping the threshold of the school, despite the origin and titles, should, first of all, respect the power of science.
По легенде, медресе, который называется, получил
This madrasa is called Zanjirli. In the 16th century, manuscripts it is called Madrasa of Menli Giray, its founder. Therefore, the work on the study of this historical monument is very important. Prominent figure of the Crimean Tatars, famous enlightener Ismail Gasprinsky, was buried near the Madrasa Zanjirli. A museum was opened in his honor in Salachik in 1921. Earlier, it was the house where he lived and worked. The name of Ismail Gasprinsky is familiar to us from the newspaper Tarjuman. It has been in circulation between 1883 and 1914 in Bakhchisarai and was widely recognized in the Turkic world. The main motto of Enlightenment ideas was unity in opinion, language, and actions. The Kazakh language, which originates from the times of Genghis Khan and the Amir Timur, should be common to all Turks, one commentary said. Now, as members of the expedition noted, the Kazakh alphabet is adopting the Latin script. Crimean Kazakhs exchanged views on this matter. Salachik was at the foot of the mountain. There was another city on the same mountain at an altitude of 600 meters above sea level. It was founded in the 5th century. The ancient name was Kerik Yer. The current name is Shufut Kale, and Kipchaks lived in this city.
В веке в XII Киркер входит в сферу влияния кипчаков, они здесь, возможно, поселяются.
In the 12th century, the Kipchaks ran the city of Kerik-Yer. Many manuscripts evidence this. In the 13th century, the fifth son of Joshi Khan Shiban invaded this fortress, and the Kipchaks defended it.
Своим отрядом штурмуют эту крепость, где сидели кипчаки.
In the 13th and 14th centuries, the Golden Horde was controlling some part of the Crimean Peninsula. Its center was the city of Kerik-Yer. There was the palace of founder of the city, Khan Kazhigiray. Only during the reign of the great Menli Giray, the city residents went down to the foot of the mountain where the new town of Salachik was created. So Salachik originates from the city of Kerik-Yer, whose name may come from the Kipchak epic 40 Warriors of the Crimea. This work was found in handwritten sources, so it is likely that the fortresses on the mountain and at its foot were founded and built by our ancestors. Fragments of ancient Kerik-Yer fortress have been preserved until present days. Many tourists visit the historical place. Who knows how many secrets this place is hiding? Several generations of Khans have ruled this territory. The daughter of famous Khan Tokhtamis and the wife of Edige Khan, Yanike Hanim, are buried nearby. Janike Begim lived in the 14th century. She was a very famous figure in the history of the Crimea and the Golden Horde. She was an outstanding personality of her era and enjoyed people's love. This is indicated in the handwritten sources of Muslim authors. During her pilgrimage to Mecca, her husband, Khan Yedige, created all conditions for the Hajj of his wife. He spared 300 soldiers to ensure her security. The rulers of the Middle Eastern countries rolled out a red carpet for the Hanim. At that time, the Golden Horde was prospering and its ruler was honored. Later, after the collapse of the empire, Yedige founded the new state of Nogai Horde. Why was Janike Hanum buried in Kirikyer? Her mother, Togay-Bek, the third wife of Khan Toktamesh, was the daughter of the ruler of the city of Kirikyer, Kajibek Bey. After the death of her husband Yedige, Janike Hanum returned to her homeland in Kirikyer and lived there until the last days.
Она связана с первыми крымскими ханами, потому что Хаджи Гирей, первый крымский хан, он, когда переносит столицу из Салхата сюда, вот,
Janike Begum established close cooperation with the first ruler of the Crimean Khanate. For example, Kajigere moved the capital of his Khanate from Solhat to Kirikyer, which was controlled by Janike.
Каким это все еще предстоит выяснить в письменных источниках, которые прольют, может быть, новый свет на вот эти вот события.
The next capital after Solhat, Kirikyer, and Salachik was Bakhchisarai. It is located only 2 kilometers away from Salachik. In 1532, Sakip-Kere, the son of Manly Gere, built a palace on this place. Later, a big city emerged around the palace. In the middle of the 17th century, there were almost 2,000 houses divided into 33 blocks, each of them with its name. In addition, there were a mosque and a madrasa in each. There were 33 mosques and the same number of madrasa in Bakhchisarai by that time. Only a few are left today, as during the period of the Crimean Khanate, many wars occurred and most of the buildings were destroyed. In 1748, Sahib Gere Khan built a huge fountain in Bakhchisarai. A large pipeline in human growth diameter was connected to it. It was used not only for draining water but also as an underground road. In total, there were several fountains in Bakhchisarai. This is a world-famous fountain of Bakhchisarai considered to be a symbol of love. It was rhymed by the great poet Alexander Pushkin in his poems. Based on the poem, performances are being adapted on the world stages.
Тот самый фонтан, который прославил наш город, дворец на весь мир. Фонтан любви, фонтан слез, но первоначально...
This is the fountain that glorified Bakhchisarai all over the world. It is also called the Fountain of Love and Tears. Khan of the Crimea Gere, in the war with the Poles, kidnapped the prince's daughter, Maria. He fell in love with this prisoner at first sight. However, they were not meant to be together. Overcome with jealousy, Gere's wife killed Maria. As a sign of his love, Khan built an ever-weeping stone fountain.
Вырезает цветок лотоса, как символ человеческого глаза, из которого капля за каплей падают скупые мужские слезы.
The Bakhchisarai fountain is our history. Therefore, all literary works related to it should be in the Kazakh language. The team of Astana Opera Theatre has performed an updated staging of the Fountain of Bakhchisarai Ballet. Yalta is a city on the Black Sea coast, and here is our history too. Gubaydola Jangiroli Bakev was the only Kazakh that received the rank of the General Knight, who lived in Yalta and held a responsible post. He was born in 1840 in the Bukay Horde. He died in Yalta in 1909. He's buried in an old Muslim tomb near Derek Madrasa. By the way, he's the only Kazakh whose photo is posted in the St. George's Hall of the Moscow Kremlin.
Это человек, который сделал очень много для своей новой родины.
Gubaydola Jangiroli is a man who did a lot of good for Yalta. He held a responsible post in the city, was engaged in land allotment affairs and anti-corruption campaign. He spent the last years of his life in Yalta as well.
И в Ялте в начале 20 века. Это 1900-е годы.
The life of such a historical personality is a good example for the younger generation. Therefore, his stature should be both in the Crimea and Kazakhstan. This suggestion was made by the members of the scientific expedition in the footprints of ancestors.
Өкінішке орай қазір ол кісінің біз жатқан жерін таба алмадық, қабірін таба алмадық. Басындағы қолпытасын.
Unfortunately, we did not find a burial place of Gubaydullah Jangiroli. Thus, everything is still ahead. The time has come to learn and know the history of your own, in particular, the life and activities of these outstanding personalities. Their way will help to educate young people. People who do not know their history are like a poplar without roots. So even if a small wind rises, it will fall. Therefore, our roots should be deeper and stronger.
Ол кішкентай ғана жел тұрса, құлап қалады. Сондықтан да біз тамырымызды тереңге таратуымыз керек.
There was a mosque next to the Desh-I-Kipchak madrasa. Unfortunately, now only ruins remain. There's also another museum of the prominent representative of the Crimean Tatars, the legendary pilot, double hero of the Soviet Union, Ahmet Khat Sultan in Yalta. He earned special respect. While most of his compatriots were exiled to a foreign land, he was personally allowed to return to his native land. Crimean Tatars belong to the Kipchak language group. Currently, their number in the Republic of Crimea is reaching 300,000, and there are up to 6 million around the world. However, many Crimean Tatars do not know their native language. The people suffered a lot of difficulties. During the Second World War, Tatars were unfairly accused of connections with German occupationists. They were deported to the Central Asia. From 1944 up to 1957, about 250,000 Tatars were expelled from the Crimea. More than a half of them died, unable to withstand the challenges. The rest of the exiles and their descendants were officially allowed to return to their native lands in 1989 only. Thus, Stalin's despotism completely changed the history of the Crimean Peninsula.
К сожалению, после 1944 года тотального выселения крымско-татарского народа с Крыма тремя указами Верховного Совета.
Unfortunately, in 1944, more than 1,200 settlements were renamed by all three decrees of the Soviet government. Among them were such names as Kipchak, Kinerat, Naiman. All of them are Kipchak clans, and this fact suggests that they were living here.
Это больше 20 Найман, Конрад, где-то около 20 названий Аргон.
Krimchaks are another blood brothers of Kazakhs inhabiting the Crimea. The culture, customs, and traditions of our peoples are practically the same. Their historical motherland is Altai. The final formation took place in the Crimea. Our people came to the Crimea from Altai. They worshipped the god Tengri. Refers to the Kipchak language group. After mixing with the local ethnic groups, the people became known as the Krimchaks. Today, the ethnic group is threatened with extinction. Now there's only about 1,500 Krimchaks on the earth. 270 of them live in the Republic of Crimea. Most of them do not know their native language due to the influence of the totalitarian system. Another setback this people received during the Second World War.
В 1941 году наш народ перенес геноцид.
In 1941, our people were subjected to a genocide. 80% of them were shot. When the fascists arrived to the Crimea Peninsula, they didn't know of the existence of the Krimchak people. When they learned we adhered to Judaism, they thought we were Jews. Therefore, our grandfathers were shot as Jews. Modern Krimchaks are the descendants of yesterday's brave soldiers who defended the independence. However, national values are being increasingly forgotten. But still, there are proud and worthy sons who believe that to preserve the heritage of their ancestors is a matter of honor. This museum is a bright example. Many of its exhibits are familiar to us and very close. The scientific expedition in the footprints of ancestors has completed its traveling to the Crimea and now is heading off to Moldova, or rather, the Gagauz Republic. Gagauz and Kazakhs also have the same roots. However, we'll tell you about all that in the next episode.